Ready? We rolling? Because I'm finna cut this nigga. I'm finna cut him. Oh, boy. What a time. What a time. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, first of all, happy Pride Month. You know, be who you are. You know, we're glad allies here on the Facts Over Acts podcast. But, boy, there are no allies on this show for each other right now because we had one of the most heated pre-productions that we've ever had. So we've got quite a show for you all. The name, The Great White Hopes, is very intentional as we're going to be talking about the NBA Finals with Luka and company. Kyrie going back to Boston to take on Jason Tatum, JB, and Porzingis. And then on the WNBA front, Caitlin Clark and all that she's got going on is somehow overshadowing the Connecticut Sun being undefeated and A'ja Wilson putting up prime Shaq numbers. But we're going to talk about all that and more on today's episode of Facts Over Acts. Fellas, y'all ready to get into it?
Oh, I'm ready, Freddie.
Alrighty, well, let's do it. What's up, y'all? Have a seat. It's your favorite hour of the week with the Facts Over Acts crew. We got the master, the mixing master, Josh Guyton in the building. We got the money man, the man of the plan, Chris Allen in the building.
Right here, right here.
And then you got the little old MC, that's me, Kenton Gibbs. Now, the first thing that we're going to do before we get into anything else, there was the question posed, which sporting event, if you had the ability to go to any one of these sporting events, which one would you do? The question is based upon...
And it's courtside. It's courtside, too.
Yes.
Like, or field side, courtside, diamond side, whatever you want to say.
Exactly. It's whichever one that you want it to be. But the four events are as follows. The women's Final Four, college football playoff games, a top boxing match, or Wimbledon. Which one would you all go to? Fellas, I'm gonna let y'all go at this thing first. Talk to me.
Okay, so you narrowed it down to 4. So it's...
Well, it could be any other sporting event that you would want front row seats to as well. Any sporting event where you get front row seats.
For me, it would be the Super Bowl, of course. It would be the Super Bowl. A couple reasons why. I know that's the basic answer, the easiest answer. That's the easiest out. But think about it, right? The Super Bowl is like a party. That's like a party. So you get there early for the Super Bowl knowing you got front row seats. Right. And you gonna be there, you could literally get there 2 days early and party all weekend, party all the way up to the game, and then party after the game. Not to mention the amount of clout you gonna get for sitting front row at a Super Bowl game. Your life is officially changed. I mean, ain't too many people on TikTok influencers just sitting front row of Super Bowl. Those tickets right there is what, 70, 80 grand gives maybe?
Something
maybe more than that.
Like that, yeah.
Maybe more than that. So you doing that, your life is just different after doing that. You got videos and all types of stuff that people gonna be in tune to watching. You could do a vlog of, look, my first time ever sitting front row is front row at the Super Bowl game, and that'd be clickbait for everybody. You can have Matisse Thybulle in the bubble clickbait type views.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Josh, what you going with? I was sold on Matisse Thybulle. I was sold.
He's still a baller. He just got traded to Portland.
I thought that he was going to be one of the best 3-and-D guys. I thought he was going to be one of the best 3-and-D guys that in the league. He was going to have a 15-year career being an elite 3-and-D guy. I was a little wrong.
I mean, he still ain't out the league yet, though.
No, he's not out the league. No, but
hold on.
I had him being a poor man's Klay Thompson. That's what I thought he was going to be. Hold
on. Y'all thought he was like that? Okay, y'all was on that.
I was tripping. Yeah. I was tripping. I can admit that.
Nah, bro.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
I saw him flashes of him being like a less rough Ron Artest. That's what I saw him.
All right. So Josh, what was your event? I was just about to say prime Ron Artest.
He was like a 17 point per game, but I say less rough though. A lot of his buckets was rough.
He put up 20. Yeah, he put up 20. Yeah, he was. Serious.
Okay. Well, Matisse would be like. I saw Matisse give you like 14 a game and have like couple primetime stops.
So, yeah, he was a star. He was a rising star. Yeah. So wait, Josh, what's your event? WrestleMania. Okay. That is a sporting event. You couldn't have me. You couldn't have me at WrestleMania. You couldn't have me up at WrestleMania.
I wouldn't be caught dead at WrestleMania. Listen to Meek Mill say, "Get up."
Listen, I'm gonna just say this: if the wrong wrestler come flying towards the stands, I'm gonna get kicked out, and I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that. Like, let's all be civilized. I like people knowing me as a civilized human being that doesn't have that type of arrest on his record. You know, so I would probably not say that. I'm gonna cheat a little bit because I don't know if this is too specific or not, but I'd love to be courtside for Brian last game. Love to be courtside. Love to be there. Love to be there. You remember how Kobe last game was? Man, Brian last game. Boy.
I really don't know though, Gibbs, because Brian don't really like he do this a lot. He downplay a lot of events and try to make it like he ain't gonna really care, and then he come out there and he be caring. Like I remember he said during the season, I ain't about to cry when I break the scoring title. I cry when I get a championship. Scoring title don't mean nothing. And then
what did he do when he got that scoring title?
Bust out in tears, stopped the game, hugged his kids, kissed his daughter. It was like, all right, Brian, come on, man.
Hey, I'm just telling you the truth. I'm just telling you. I want to be there for that last game. I want to be there for it. I'm not gonna lie to you at all. That's my guy. So
if he hooped to 45, fellas, we might be able to do it. We might be all right by the end. We could go in on you know. We might be. We ain't
got that type of money, Chris. We ain't gonna.
Not front row. We could be in the bleeds though. We could be in the bleeds.
Oh, absolutely.
I believe in myself. If Brian could get you another 2-3 years, we should have that bread by then.
I mean, I'm be honest. I could do it now.
I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic.
I'm ready when y'all are. Let me know.
I hear it. Well, speaking of NBA players, because we got to talk about the things that are going on in the NBA right now. The finals are happening. Bron's old sidekick is Luka's new sidekick. You got Jason Tatum and them over there running through the East with his woes and whatnot, destroying the East like it's nothing, and they got Kristaps Porzingis back. First of all, let me just ask y'all this. Were you surprised at all by how the Wolves and Mavericks went? I'm going to start off by saying, hashtag Gibbs is wrong. I was very surprised. I was shocked. I did not see that coming. I knew that it was going to be a tougher series. That's why I said Wolves in 6. But to see them get absolutely manhandled, and to see Cat just refute. Cat is the most frustrating, because every time you think he's turned the corner, every time you're like, he putting his shoulder down, he getting to the Baja. I like this version of Cat. He says, actually, I shoot 1,500 threes a day, and I'm going to shoot more in a game. Very embarrassing stuff. But were you all surprised by this? Because I was, and I'll admit that. Were either one of you two surprised by this outcome?
I was very surprised by the outcome. When we did the show, I had the Timberwolves in 6 just because the amount of defense that they played. They locked down the defending champions when they just played them. Anthony Edwards looked like a man possessed. Karl Anthony Towns was playing some of the best basketball we ever seen him play. It seemed like they were a well-oiled machine, and I know in this case, a lot of teams need that experience. They need to get whooped up on when they're that inexperienced in the playoffs and they want to hit that next level. But I think we underestimated just how good Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving are at basketball. Because I was thinking of it from an ISO perspective. When you got 2 ISO players like that, I can't recall a situation where we've seen a team with 2 ISO players in the backcourt make it this far in the playoffs. And when you got ISO players like that, you got Anthony Edwards playing great defense. You got Jade McDaniels playing great defense. If they get to the rack, you got 2 7-footers down there. I was under the impression that defense was going to win this series, and the Wolves looked gassed. The Wolves looked at moments like they didn't want to be there. And I think we had to start having honest conversations about Luka Doncic being the best basketball player in the world.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, Chris, any surprise there for you?
You know, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. We shouldn't be surprised, and I wasn't surprised. Let me tell you why. On the show, y'all saw how hard it was for us to pick the Timberwolves, right? It was really hard for us. And what was the unanimous thing is the rule is you got to knock on the door first, right? We was even like when they got to game 6, we was like, when the last time we seen the team not knock on the door first, right? And history showed us itself. You got to knock on the door first. Where was the Mavericks 2022?
Conference finals, right?
They was in the conference finals against Golden State because the Golden State won it that year.
Yep.
But what does that tell you? They've been there. They was knocking at the door. They didn't knock at the door yet, but they was knocking at the door, right? They was doing the screen door. They ain't knocking on the hardwood door. They was knocking on the screen door. And the Timberwolves have not. They have not shown us that they can knock on the door yet. So we all jumped the gun. So I'm not really surprised. I really did not. I wanted to roll with the Timberwolves just off the strength of I didn't want Denver to win, right? I just think that Denver gets a lot of credit for a lot of things that they do against the Lakers that they don't replicate on other teams, right? So I was rooting for them in that regard. But when it came to Dallas, yeah, I picked the Timberwolves just because of the size of Dallas. But at the end of the day, history repeated itself and showed us that you got to knock on the door first.
So let me ask you all this, right? We have the Celtics destroying the East, making it look easy, making it look like a non-factor. And this is primed to be what their – let me not do that. Because I was going to say this is primed to be their second championship since segregation ended. But in all fairness, Bird was in the 80s. He was post-segregation.
Yeah, so 4, 5. They had one in the 70s.
With that being said, you're looking at the Celtics potentially winning their first championship in quite some time. Let me ask you this. Who do y'all have in this series and why?
I have the Celtics. I picked the Celtics at the start of the year.
In how many games?
I got the Celtics in 6. I picked the Celtics at the start of the year, and I have to stay with my pick. But here's the issue that I'm having. This series is going to come down to coaching, and Jason Kidd has proved that he's an elite coach, and Joe Mazzulla can be a great coach, but we haven't seen him prove that yet because he has players that have made it that far, but he's a coach that hasn't made it that far, and we haven't got to see his chops as a coach because when you're playing in an Eastern Conference to where your team is far and away the most talented and the team with the most chemistry, you don't really get to see someone be tested as a coach in an environment like the NBA Finals. Now, one mistake that I think they're going to make and how Boston could lose this series is I think they're going to focus too much on trying to play defense on Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving and be physical with them and try to make Luka and Kyrie get out of their slump or get out of their rhythm offensively to win that series. And I have a secret for you. You're not going to slow down Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving offensively, especially with the defenders that you have. Yes, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are bigger, but at the same time, they can be scored against, and the defenders you're going to be relying on is Derek Wright and Drew Holiday, which in any other series, any other scenario, yes, those are elite defenders that you would want to see go against that best person. But we've seen time again, both Drew Holiday and Derek White have been historically cooked by Luka Doncic on a regular basis. We've seen it happen. Mm-hmm. The way that Boston wins this series, you have to put the ball in Jason Tatum's hands. You have to put the ball in Jaylen Brown's hands. And you have to try to tire out Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving on the defensive end. You have to attack them. You have to try to get them in foul trouble. And you have to try to be a better offensive team than Dallas is going to be. Because if you try to focus on defense, you're going to get out of your rhythm. And that's how Dallas is going to cook you. So you're going to have to attack those two on the offensive end if you want to win this series.
Okay, so you got season 6, but there is a world where you see the Celtics losing this thing. All right, Chris, who you got and why?
So it's an underlying issue that I'm just going to go out there and say it. Okay? And it's 2 of them, actually. One, Joker ran away with the face of the NBA, kind of, but it really wasn't like Joker didn't really want it. Like, it was there for him to take it, but he didn't really want it. He don't have a personality for it, right? Mm-hmm. When's the last time a Caucasian male has been the face of the NBA?
Probably Bird. They tried to make it Steve Nash.
They tried. I don't think it was Bird. I don't think Bird was ever the face. I think, I guess because white America is the bigger population and demographic, I guess Bird, yeah. I guess Bird would be
okay. It. Exactly. So, not only would this spice up the game a little bit, it will help. So, I think Luka gets a lot of the calls this playoffs, right? I think he gets a lot of the...
Luka ain't American white, though.
I know, but
they be a little leery of Luka.
White is white, Gibbs. He was drinking a beer at the end of the game, Gibbs. He white.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Hear me out. It's a little different. It
is definitely different. It's definitely different.
Because imagine if Joker was from Minnesota and he led the Gophers to a natty. Oh, there wouldn't, the way that they talk about him on ESPN, that Glaze Fest would be, he might have to leave $40 on the counter if you understand where I'm coming from. You know what I'm saying? But instead, they give him his love, but it's also like, he lost. Is he a fraud? Which is only reserved for certain folks. But I get what you're saying.
Okay. So I think that recognition. Now the second thing I think that when I think about this series is, right, and Gibbs, you're gonna love me when I say this. You're gonna forget everything I said in the pre-production show when I say this.
Oh, I'm not gonna forget. We're not gonna go there right now, but proceed.
Listen. Kyrie been normal too long. Kyrie been normal too long, man. He going back to Boston where he was miserable at. He been normal. That mental gonna do something. Something gonna erupt in there.
He said the shenanigans calling him like the Green Goblin mask. Come on, Kyrie. You know you want to miss a game.
Last time he was there, he was giving middle fingers up to the fans and telling them to suck his you-know-what. I'm just saying he going back to uncharted territory in Kyrie's brain. Last time he was there, he got swept and they threw a water bottle at him. I'm just saying, y'all expected him to hold it together for a tense series in the finals on the biggest stage where they have home court advantage. I don't know if I'm sold that he's a completely different human being yet. He got the tribe of Anta making his shoes. He got little, cowboy things on his shoes. Now, Kyrie really trying to beat them allegations of being crazy in the head a little bit. I just don't know if I'm sold on that yet. I don't know.
Right.
So I say that.
Who you got and then how many games?
I think I'm going to have to roll the Celtics in 7. Just because they got home court. And, it sucks that they going to win the title when I'm not there. I was just out there in the slums of Boston trying to wait for them to go to the parade. But, I think they win in 7. Only because I think the best scenario to go against Dallas right now is to have Drew Holiday and Derek White. I think that's the best scenario. No other backcourt will be able to do what they can do. And also, they beat the Timberwolves a lot because Ant was gassed from chasing them around all day. Not only do you have Drew Holiday, Derek White, but if you do a pick and roll and switch, you either run into Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, or either you run into Porzingis, who can guard the pick and roll by himself, right? He's that long. Yeah. So, and then you got Al Horford coming off the bench, right? And it's just a team that has 7 defenders that can guard inside and outside. So I think they make it extremely tough for one of them, not both of them. Both of them gonna go off one of them gonna go off a game, every game. But I think one of them struggles and the other one goes off. Think about how the Thunder played them. The Thunder had all of the keys to switch at every position on the floor. Even Chet, when he got switched on to, he wasn't a liability because he was long enough, right? Yeah. So I got the Celtics in 7 off that reason. This is the best scenario to go against Dallas right now.
Well, every time a Boston sports team loses, an angel gains their wings. Unfortunately, I think only one angel will gain their wings in this series. I've got Celtics in 5 because while I think that Luka he's phenomenal. He's exceeding expectations in real time. And while I think that Kyrie is the most locked in and best we've seen him since that 2016 comeback, the Celtics are too deep. in the words of Kendrick Lamar, how many options you really got? It's too many options. That's the deal with the Celtics. It's too many options, offensively and defensively. You talked about the defensive end. Chris, think about the offensive firepower that they have.
I didn't even get there. I know.
That's the part that concerns me. What does Dallas do when you have Porzingis standing out there on the 3-point line? What do you do? What do you do when you got
to guard Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum 1-on-1? That's what you do. You got to guard them 1-on-1.
And who do they have that can accomplish that?
I mean, Derrick Jones Jr. did okay against
the
Ant-Man.
only way that this thing works out is if Derrick Jones Jr. has the series of his life defensively. Him and PJ have to literally be lights out defense. Like they have to say, I'm not doing nothing offensively. I'm going to put it all on defense.
Don't
give a damn about no offense. I'm here to catch a lob or two, and I'm here to lock this young man up. And even then, if you go man for man, it's tough. You're stuck in a position where even though we know that like Jaylen Brown is I'm not even gonna say that because that's disrespectful. He's a right-hand bandit, similar to a bald-headed degenerate from the 90s, but we're not gonna go there right now. And people have figured out ways to cut that off. It's still much tougher to stop all the weapons that Boston has because, again, even if you stop just Tatum and Brown, would you be shocked if Porzingis went off for 20 a game if you leave him and Lively on an island?
No.
I wouldn't be.
Honestly, I think Porzingis can take Lively to the basket.
If you leave PJ on Al Horford may not be the most athletic. He may not be the greatest in terms of he can jump out the gym, whatever. He understands the game of basketball at an extremely high level. He is going to have P.J. Washington in hell in terms of if they're left one-on-one. So now you're left with a situation where what Dallas did defensively to make it tough on Ant, they would say go one-on-one, but we're going to shrink the floor while you go one-on-one. Boston can legit run 5 out all the time. Or 4 out all the time, and you can't do nothing about it. 4 out plus 1 on the ball, and you can't do nothing about it. A lineup of Porzingis, Horford, Tatum, Brown, Holiday. Which one of them can't shoot? Which one of them are you like, oh, he's self-check? Because I can tell you, when you took any lineup of the Timberwolves, there was a moment where either you had somebody that was self-check or a defensive liability. You had one of those two things. Of that 5 I just named, who's your defensive liability for Dallas that you could exploit? Because don't get me wrong, Horford is he's hibachi if you get him on a guard. Sure. How do you get him on a guard? Who's the guy on your offense that you're like, oh yeah, you got to be worried about him coming off the pick to where, like if he's the roll man or the pop man, if you leave him alone, he's cooked. They don't have one. So I think the Celtics make light work of this, but we'll see whether or not a light pack comes out of this. Because, again, this series, if it's competitive, I mean, that would surprise me a little bit. If the Mavs win it, that would be one of the biggest surprises I've seen in terms of the NBA Finals.
I think that might solidify Luka as, like, the best European basketball player if they win this. I think that.
Chris, don't piss me off.
If he pull this off, Gibbs, if Luka pull this off,
So Dirk and Manu must be from the same country or something. Yeah,
listen. Dirks was nuclear, but this is almost the same level to me. Almost the same level. This is almost the same level.
You know what? Regardless of a championship or not, Luka already passed Manu.
Oh, yeah, he passed Manu. He passed Manu. But what I'm saying, Dirk is your only.
Look, Dirk is your only. Dirk is ahead of Luka. But at the same time, Luka been in the league 6 years, and this man been to 3 conference finals, got 5 all NBA first teams. Yeah, like he's going to. Hold
on. He ain't been in no goddamn 3 conference finals. Hold on. We gonna stop there.
Yes, he has.
No, he hasn't. He went to 1, and now he's in the finals.
This is his 3rd one. The one he just went to, that was his 3rd conference finals.
That was his second one, Guyton. That was his second one.
He didn't go to the conference finals in a bubble.
No, he went in 2022.
Oh, no, you're right. It was Lakers Nuggets, right?
Lakers Nuggets.
To me, that doesn't really matter. That's not orthogonal to the story for me. For him, he is on a trajectory to pass Dirk, absolutely. But I'm saying if
it's a conversation.
I don't think so. I don't think that.
Listen, them beating this Celtics team is almost equivalent to Dirk beating that Heat team. I promise you that. That Heat team was great, but they hadn't played together for a season. This Celtics team's been together for 4-5 years, Gibbs.
That Celtics team is known for choking when the lights get the brightest. Them boys don't show up when the lights get the brightest repetitively. I'm sorry, nobody said about LeBron and Dwayne damn Wade, hey, those boys, when you put them under the light, they're cooked. They're done. We had already seen LeBron do some things. We saw him up against the Pistons in the conference finals where he said, all right, none of y'all want to score today. Nobody wants to score in the fourth quarter. Give me the ball and get out the way, dorks. And he did it.
I'm hip, but this is a tough ring and Luka win it. This ring got some weight to it. This ring is like, it's up there, kid. He is a severe underdog right now. He is
I'm not
severe
disagreeing
underdog.
with that. I'm not disagreeing with that.
And Kyrie going to the psych unit after this series, so.
I'm not saying that that's not a massive ring. What I'm saying is he does not then leapfrog Dirk because of that. Dirk is
okay. He'll be second until he do it again. He'll be second till he do it again.
I give you that. If he does it again, we can revisit this conversation. But off one.
But if he win this one, he passed Joker in my book. He win this one.
Honestly, I don't even know if he passed Joker. Honestly,
he passed Joker in my book. He win this one.
Because Joker got 2 MVPs. He got 2 of them things.
He got 3.
I don't give.
Wait, he got 3.
I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn.
What were the voters doing, bro?
Honestly, you know what? If he win a ring, I got Luka. I got Luka passing Jokic.
I don't give a damn about the MVPs. Listen. Luka don't play in the regular season, and he still got 5 All-NBAs.
I'm not saying that the MVP is a fraud award, but at the same time, the MVP is a very nuanced award.
3 of them to 0.
But you can be the absolute best player in the world, and depending on how the other 14 members of your roster perform, could be the difference between you winning and not winning MVP.
Gibbs,
he hit that boy with a Steph Curry, a 30 ball, and you sitting up here telling me
Gibbs. Kobe don't have that many MVPs.
What does that have to do with
Cole got 1.
What I'm saying is MVPs is one of them stats that your team could be bad because somebody got hurt during the regular season.
Cole got 1 MVP and you got him as top 3 all time, Gibbs.
Well, I must reevaluate some things about myself.
No, you don't.
At this moment.
Because you got to think, bro, Cole averaged 37 and took a terrible team to the playoffs and didn't win MVP.
Kobe is top 5 for me. He is not top 3, but he is top 5. He is top 5 for me. Not top 3, but he is top 5. I will give him that. Y'all have given me something to think about here, but it's tough for me to say. Win this, it's tough for me to put Luka over him because who was Jokic's second in command during those shows?
But listen. I hear you on that, Gibbs, and I thought that too. But if you look at the way that team is constructed, right? Jamal Murray is not better than Kyrie Irving. I got you, Gibbs. Listen,
not even close.
But if you look at the way that team is constructed, you have length, you have athleticism, you have multiple guys that can bring the ball up the court, and you have snipers, right? You have snipers.
And Dallas doesn't have that?
I'm not saying they don't, but they have people that haven't even proven that they can do that. Denver has people that have proven they can do that. Michael Porter Jr. came into the league shooting the blood out the ball. Aaron Gordon was in Orlando wasting his talents. Jamal Murray was wasteful because he's always hurt. PJ Washington proved something to you. PJ Washington proved something to you, Gibbs, in Charlotte. PJ Washington proved something to you in Charlotte, Gibbs. PJ Washington proved something to you in Charlotte. Tell me that. Derrick Jones on a minimum contract.
Hold on. You're not going to talk to me about Gafford and PJ because they were with the worst run organizations in the league outside of Detroit. everything that goes there languishes and turns to dust. Who in Charlotte looks good? Who? Glenn Rice? That's the last one. That's the last one.
I got you. Mikal Bridges look good. Miles Bridges look good over there. Miles Bridges look good over there. When he not on the news.
Okay.
When he not on the news, he look
Okay,
good.
so that's one guy. That's one guy. LaMelo was supposed to be redefining the point guard position, and instead he's spending all his VCO back tattoos.
Gibbs, I'm just
What
saying.
are you doing here?
I'm just saying. Denver got guys that have proven they could be role players. Dallas does not.
Charlotte
Dallas does
has
not.
more. Charlotte has more players with charges since 2018 than playoff wins. And you're telling me, oh, did he look good in Charlotte? Nobody looked good in Charlotte. Jordan didn't even look good in Charlotte.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is Aaron Gordon looked good in Orlando. Jamal Murray always looked good. He just always was hurt.
What? Wait.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Aaron Gordon looked good in Orlando. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Aaron Gordon looked good.
Aaron Gordon was
guy.
the guy in Orlando.
He looked like he was playing way above his head, and they asked way too much of him, asked him to be a top 2 option on the team. He looked like he was supposed to be a lob guy, and that's it. That's what he looked like. That's what he looked like. What are we doing here?
Gibbs.
Hey,
Right,
hold on. I was on your side for a minute, Chris, but then I look it up. Aaron Gordon was kind of terrible in Orlando.
Thank you. Thank you. He was terribly inefficient. He took the ball all the time.
His best season in Orlando, he gave you 16. He gave you 16 to 7 on 44% shooting. As the number one option.
44% damn shooting as
the
a power forward. As a power forward, shoot 44%.
But you got to remember, he was shooting post shots and shit. That's not his game. That's not his game.
Can you pull something up for me real quick, Josh? What is give me Giannis. Let's see what Giannis shoots, because that's a power forward. Let's see what a good power forward.
Giannis don't shoot. He dunks the ball and lay the ball up. Giannis don't shoot.
So he knows his job. He does his job well. Are we gonna punish him for doing his job better than Aaron Gordon?
Giannis' worst year shooting the ball was his rookie year, which was 46%. Every other year since that, he shot at least 50.
So his worst year, which was his first ever in the NBA, when he was this damn big, he did better than Aaron Gordon's best year, which was his fifth.
Gibbs, I'm gonna ask you one question. Gibbs. I'm gonna ask you one question. You told me we playing pickup 5-on-5 basketball, and it's PJ Washington down there, and it's Aaron Gordon down there. You telling me you picking PJ over Aaron Gordon?
What does my team need? Depending on what my team needs, I will absolutely pick
Your team needs somebody that can bring the ball up and score the basketball in the post and also defend really well. That's what your team needs.
How many shooters do I got? How many shooters
You got two.
do I got?
You got two shooters. You got two shooters.
You got two? If it's just a 5-on-5, I'll go ahead with Gordon, because you don't need 3 shooters. 3 shooters is a little.
My point being is the team was solely created with guys that had proven that they were good at a couple things and that they can gel well together. Dallas put this team together on the whim. They put this team together on the whim.
If anything, your argument would have been KCP was a proven 3-and-D guy. That's your proven product. All of the rest of them did. I'm sorry, I don't want to lose I know we don't even go for the clean rating anymore, but they did absolutely nothing in their previous stops. All the rest of them were, man. What, you gonna tell me Monte Morris was a guy? You gonna tell me he was a guy now?
It's 2024. I ain't bringing up no Monte Morris.
Exactly.
I was trying to find another option. It ain't one.
You see what I'm saying, John?
What I'm saying is,
there's nobody.
Okay, let's do the same thing for Dallas, then, Guyton. Let's do the same thing for Dallas.
Look, I hear
But
both perspectives.
my argument is not that Dallas is an extremely well-oiled machine. My whole argument is Jokic made that team look like a well-designed machine. That's the Jokic effect. He made them do that, just like Luka is making this team run like a well-oiled machine right now. That is what I'm saying. It's 1 for 1. I'm saying you can't say one guy had a team that was perfectly constructed to be great, and this other guy had a team that was just like, let's just slap some guys together and, we'll let Luka fill in the
All I know
cracks.
is if Luka get this title, I'm going to say Joker who?
See, you finna make me throw my headphones. You finna make me throw my headphones like we on the Joe Budden podcast. You finna. You know what?
Joker who?
You know.
You can have it.
You know.
You can have it.
To make me defend somebody like this while going into our next segment about the next Great White Hope. That's nasty work, Chris, because you're about to piss me off again. And see, you know what? I figured out Chris' strategy. He going to get me to stroke out on air. That's what he going to do. He going to get me to stroke out on air, and then he going to tell y'all, you see what all that anger does to you. Because now we have to talk about the WNBA and all that has surrounded it in terms of the coverage of the WNBA. But we're going to start with this. Fellas, what do you all think of not only Caitlin Clark's play, but the coverage and hype surrounding her so far? Josh, I'm going to let you start because I know Chris going to piss me off. Me off. So,
Look,
Josh, you go ahead and start.
A lot of people are upset about the coverage of Caitlin Clark, right? And here's why it doesn't make sense. And I've seen a lot of people make the argument like, oh, if this was a men's thing, they wouldn't really be making that big of a deal of it. Or if it was a men's thing, they wouldn't make this thing about envy or jealousy or hate. But that's not the case. How long has the WNBA been around?
28 years. This is the 28th year.
28 years. Okay, so you had 28 years of trying to build this business from the ground up. And a lot of people say like the WNBA isn't on the NBA level, where the NBA has been around for 50 more years than the WNBA. So the NBA's first season was 1947. What's 28 years past 1947? That's about what? That's 1975? Okay.
And at that point in time, the league was split. It was the ABA and the NBA at that time.
The league was split. But 5 years after that, into trying to build this conglomerate of a league, who was the number 1 and 2 pick of the 1980 draft? 1979 draft, my apologies.
That was the Bird and Magic year, right?
Yes. And what was the marketing angle? What was the angle that they pushed in order to try to get the NBA to the next level?
The flashy, urban, he plays the ball. He plays the game very loose. He's very loose with the ball. He doesn't follow conventional rules versus the Great White Hope who does everything. He's not the most athletic. He's not the highest jumper. He's not going to do a lot of fancy dunks, but he plays the game the right way.
So it's almost as if they did this same thing with men about 30 years into the league being established. Okay, so you had people trying to change the face of the league. You had these names that you could market to push the league to the next level. You had Magic. You had Bird. 6 years after that, Jordan came into the league. Right. And how did the other players that were already there, how did they feel about this? How did they treat those players when they came into the league and was trying to do the same things that they did in college?
Oh, everybody hated both of those guys.
Because I remember Michael Jordan getting elbowed in the mouth about 5 years straight until he really became the man. And until he became the man.
As he should have. I don't know. Do y'all not? Never mind. I'm not gonna go there. As he should have.
I'm going to interject here because y'all pissing me off. Y'all beating around the bush. Y'all beating around.
Bring it on.
We're pissing you off. Go ahead, Chris. Speak exactly.
Listen. The only reason why people is mad about this shit is because one of America's proud girls is getting her ass whooped, okay? It happens to every rookie. Can we not forget Lonzo Ball got knocked his ass all around the court his first game in the NBA?
By Pat Bell, people. By Pat Bell.
They hated him. They hated him because of his dad. Okay? Y'all beating around the bush. Let's say what it is. It's America's sweetheart for the WNBA getting her ass whooped.
But that's my hope. See, that's
the point that we making.
This is my problem because
y'all just get beating around the bush. Just get to it.
So let's speak plain and clear. Then let's speak plain and clear. Too many people, and I'm not going to mention who, but too many people do not understand the skill level of the WNBA. Too many people see one clip or see one game where WNBA players are struggling to score and looking bad, and they're like, oh, this is what the WNBA is. As if we didn't watch Pistons Nets last year that had a 5-minute stretch of no score. That's what happens. As though we don't have multiple men on that court that are going to make so much money, even if they never made a dime outside the NBA, their children's children would never have to work in their life if they didn't want to. That's the problem. Too many people didn't understand the skill level, so they thought that Caitlin Clark coming in was going to be what Bird was coming in, what Magic was coming in. And they didn't understand, oh, wait, this game, the WNBA, it's more skilled than you can imagine. There are more great players than you can imagine. Of course, there's Asia Wilson. That is multiple-time All-Star, multiple-time MVP, multiple-time champ. I can't sing her praises enough. She got a statue while she's still playing at South Carolina. That's how good the woman is. But there's also Kalia Copper with the Mercury, who has come on and is putting up nearly 23 a year. There's also an Alyssa Thomas with the Connecticut Sun, who's like Draymond if he could actually score out of the post. She's a triple-double threat at any time. You've also got multiple players in the league right now that are all-time leading scorers, like Alyssa Thomas's fiance in Dewana Bonner. You've got multiple players that are not new to this. They're true to this. But people didn't understand that. And now Caitlin is getting her ass whooped. And it's like, oh, well, they hate her. They hate her because they set hard screens. Let me tell you something.
They competitors.
It's ball. It's ball. You're supposed to hate everybody you go against. When I played ball, I hated everybody. I hated King a little different. I hated UNC a little different. But I hated everybody. I hated Cody.
And you know what's crazy? The same people that's saying, like, oh, man, I don't understand why they being too mean to her. These are the same dudes that see NBA players dap up and hug each other in the middle of the court before a game and be like, oh, what happened to the NBA being competitive?
What happened to the game I love? So to me, there are too many people that underestimated the talent level, and had they paid attention and realized how skilled these players are, they would have known, oh, she's not going to come in and dominate like that. There's no Nafisa Collier equivalent in college. There isn't. I'm sorry to tell you. There's no, a lot of these players that are in the WNBA dominating, there isn't that in college. And people imagine that there was, and that's why they're disappointed.
And y'all really talking right now. But once again, if we get straight to the point, this is what the problem is with social media and the games that we love. You have this culture that's building. You have people that have never turned on the TV and actually watched anything, but they have everything to say about it. They have not watched anything at all about sports, but they have everything in their right mind to say about it. They go online, they see Caitlin Clark dominate college basketball when, truthfully, she never even won a national championship. So how the hell did she dominate any damn thing? But I digress.
And that Iowa team that she bought from nothing made the NCAA tournament 10 times out of the last 12 seasons before she got there. And they made the Elite Eight the year before she stepped foot on campus. You know, but she bought them from nothing. She bought these Make-A-Wish kids. You know, Iowa does the cancer wave at the children football team. Those kids apparently came out the ward and became women's basketball players. Who knew?
Just say, I don't know how you dominate some shit, not win the title. I can't name nobody that you say dominated and ain't won the title. So
that's fair. So let me ask you this. Let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think that the media needs to change the way in which they're covering the WNBA? And if so, how does that need to work?
No, I don't think the media needs to change the way that they're covering the WNBA at all. Here's why.
Why do you say that?
The WNBA is a very talented league. These women are very talented. They put on good basketball. And this is speaking for someone that I can't say I've watched the WNBA my entire life, but I definitely have watched it the past couple years. Where if there's a WNBA game on, I'm watching it. And it's entertaining games. It's good basketball.
Yeah.
Promoting good basketball in a social media age, well, I can't even say a social media age. The way entertainment has worked forever is people thrive off of negativity. People thrive off of headlines. So if you keep pushing these narratives, you keep pushing these headlines, people are going to have no choice but to say, let's see what's going on. Let's see how much they bullying this girl. And then they watch these games, and that's the way you can get eyes on the WNBA, and you can actually get some viewership. Because if you just say, oh, this is a talented game. And how many times have y'all been on social media? I'm pretty sure all three of us follow ESPN, like on Instagram. and they put up a post, a highlight play from a WNBA game, and the entire comment section is like sandwich, kitchen, can't hoop, I beat them one-on-one, sandwich, kitchen. That's the average comment section on the WNBA video. So if you change the narrative into narratives that's around the league, that's how you can get viewership on it. And that's the same case with every sports. If you look at most of the sports headlines when it even comes to men's sports, rarely is any of this stuff actually about the game.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Man, bullshit. I'm firing the whole marketing team for the WNBA. All of them need to go pack their damn boxes and get the hell out.
I'm talking about media, how media is covering it right now.
Them too. They need to all pack their shit and go. They are trying to do a copy paste from the NBA to the WNBA. It's not the same game. It's not the same players. It's not the same narratives. They need to go ahead, start from the beginning. What will make this game stand out differently than what makes the NBA stand out? That's what they need to do.
And what is that?
Simple. It's stuff like Caitlin Clark came to the college. Her focus this year is development. The NBA, when you're number one pick, you're expected to come in and start and win games. We shouldn't be expecting that from the WNBA. If these bozos will go on TV and actually watch something, you will understand that not many girls came to the WNBA and balled out like they do in the NBA. That doesn't happen. You can have sheer athleticism in the NBA and come in and do some great things, but you're still not going to be somebody. Magic Johnson's a rare case, but you're not. And there's a couple of people that's rare cases. You're not going to come in the league and win a championship. You're not going to come in the league and turn your franchise around right away. The WNBA is different. You have to show this is what Clayton Clark gonna have to go through. This is what most of the people that got drafted got to go through. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna say this. I am surprised that Chris is not the one pissing me off here.
It's me?
Because Josh, it's you now.
Let's get it. What do you mean?
Because you being too damn nice to that media.
Exactly. What do you mean they don't need to change how they cover the game? We have Asia Wilson putting up prime Shaq numbers. And we're talking about Caitlin Clark.
Because the average person don't care. Well, if you go back to covering it the way it was covered, it's been covered that way for 30 years and nobody cares.
But that's the problem. Bro, the grass is not greener because it's naturally greener in the place. The grass is greener where you water it. Point blank, period. When we look at so many different sports, think about how people used to talk about baseball when ESPN's Instagram first came out. Everybody was saying it wasn't a real sport. And then all of a sudden, we fell in love with Aaron Judge. We fell in love with Juan Carlos Stanton. We fell in love with Juan Soto. We fell in love with Justin Verlander. We fell in love with all of these players.
I appreciate all the Yankees.
I don't know.
Because the MLB started pushing all of these guys. And Chris, I know, because guess who gets pushed the most? The damn Yankees. We fell in love with Altuve.
Hey, look,
we fell in love with Altuve.
I don't know what social media y'all follow.
Harper.
I don't know what ESPN y'all follow, but when a WNBA season is active, every time I open my Instagram for the past 3 years, I see Asia Wilson, I see Sabria Ionescu, I see Candace Parker, I see Kelsey Plum, and nobody cares. And
I'm not
nobody
disagreeing
cares.
with that. This is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the coverage in terms of. So I'll give you a perfect example. During the Western Conference Finals, the WNBA season was already here. And there was a segment on First Take about whether or not Stephen A. Smith could score a point against LeBron if they were playing 21. What the hell are we doing? What is that? Talk about ball. Talk about sports. You could not, bro. We have had so many segments on so many different shows about the same things over and over and over again.
Agreed.
There's only so many times that you can care about whether or not Mike McCarthy needs to relinquish the play calling responsibilities. There's only so much you can care about that. And it's not just about First Take. This is about all the shows. Because Skip's show, as terrible as the ratings are, they try to do the same thing. Everything is LeBron-centric. Everything is now about Bronny because he is an extension of LeBron. He has the man's name, for Christ's sake. It is to me, and y'all making me lose my voice, which is really killing me right now. It's really killing me right now. Because y'all sitting up here telling me that the WNBA does a great job of marketing its players.
I never said that.
I I said fire all
I
of
never
them.
said
Bro,
they do a great job.
Okay, I'm sorry, not the WNBA. You're telling me that the media doesn't
I'm talking
need to
about
change
the
way that
media. The WNBA can change how they market their players. The media, what they're doing at this exact moment in time with this Caitlin Clark narrative is the most attention the WNBA has gotten in our entire lives.
Because this is what I'm saying. This is not a which came first, the chicken or the egg situation. This is a which came first, the chicken or the chicken nugget situation. The reality is very simple. If you give something more coverage, it will be a bigger story. We can pretend like misogynists just started existing in the world when Caitlin Clark came and people started doing the sandwich thing. That's been around for years, decades. Caitlin Clark didn't stop those people from coming. They are who they are. But the reality is, now that there is a narrative of we need to support women's sports, and now that there is this greater push to support women's sports, all of a sudden, we're seeing a very different thing happen. And that, to me, is the part of this thing where I'm like, this is not reasonable and it's not fair because, again, the Connecticut Sun are like the bad boy Pistons right now. And people aren't paying attention to the fact that they're undefeated. There are so many great players in the league right now. Diana Taurasi, a player who changed the game indefinitely, or not indefinitely, undoubtedly changed the WNBA forever. Was shooting more threes than Steph before Steph. You're looking at, again, multiple players who are either current or former MVPs, all in the same timeline right now. You're looking at players who have ridiculously big personalities. You're looking at teams who have definitive identities. The Dallas Wings, although they need to come on back to Detroit, are the biggest team in the league by a lot. I mean, physically, the biggest team. They have a ton of bigs, 6'4 plus, that can all get it done, that can all put the ball on the floor, that can all take you to the paint and make something happen. And you're telling me that we don't need to talk about any of that outside of Caitlin Clark? Stop it.
I'm not telling you that we don't need to talk about any of that. What I'm telling you is when that is covered, I follow the WNBA. People don't care.
Right.
And I understand what you're saying. The more that you push it, maybe people would care. I've seen it. I've watched it. Go and look at any post that's related to the WNBA right now. That's not Caitlin Clark centric. It's no engagement.
Gibbs made you the cake, guy. I'm gonna put the icing on it. All right.
Go ahead.
ESPN also does this weird thing too, where they post some random kid out of high school, right? That's like he just dropped 40, and it was like crazy the way he dropped 40, right? Then I know YouTube just like me. Y'all be like, who this guy dropping 40? You go watch the clips, and then you go look up the guy and say, is he really that deal, right? Because I know I've done it on occasions, right? Done it on occasion, right? Right. So like I just said, Gibbs made the cake. I'm gonna put the icing on it, right? When the last time they covered the press conferences for goddamn WNBA before Caitlin Clark?
Pretty often, actually.
Yeah,
I don't know what Instagram y'all following, but I see the WNBA all the time.
No,
I'm not. Hold on. I'm not making the argument that that ESPN does not cover them, and I'm not just. And again, this isn't just about ESPN. I'm saying that the narratives being driven are nasty as hell, and we need to keep it on the court. We need to stop all this. Do they hate Caitlin Clark? No, they're hoopers. They're hooping. They're doing their job.
We just had a conversation. It's the same with me in sports. We just had a conversation this year about do Victor Wembanyama teammates hate him because they not passing him the ball.
But that's different than does the rest of the league hate him? Is everybody else in the league hating on him? Because that paints a very different.
Without social media.
When LeBron was first coming to the league, did we say the rest of the league hates Bron?
Yes, including his teammates. Yes,
his teammates hated on him because they were losers, and there was film of them hating on him. I'm saying when people, when
there were around the league that was hating on Bron literally until like 5 years ago, bro. How many goddamn Paul Pierce interviews have we heard? Like that nigga was scared of us.
I agree. I'm not saying that there were not people that hate him. What I'm saying is the prevailing narrative was not everybody in the league is just hating on Bron. That's crazy. That was never the case. But Caitlin Clark gets this Make-A-Wish kid treatment where it's like, oh, she's so precious. She's so sweet and dear. and these big,
Bro, we've
angry,
seen that multiple
buff
times
women
in our
wanna hurt her.
lifetime. We've seen that multiple times.
Candace Parker got it just as bad, and it was not like this. People weren't talking about Candace Parker like this.
Candace
She the
Parker
real
played-
CP3, and people
Candace
weren't
Parker
talking about it like
played
this.
before social media was prevalent around sports. We seen the same narrative with fucking Johnny Manziel. We saw the same narrative. Anytime he got tackled hard, oh man, they trying to push the NFL's. They try to push the NFL's darling. Don't act like they wasn't going extra hard. Like Johnny Football was the savior of the NFL.
Johnny Manziel hated Johnny Manziel more than anybody else could.
But that's not the narrative that was pushed.
The boy didn't watch not a lick of damn film.
I understand. I never said that he was good.
Always late.
I never said that he was good.
When Johnny played, I don't remember anybody having segments around, does the league hate Johnny?
Yes.
That was not happening.
Okay, man. I'm about to get on the internet.
Pull the receipts.
I'm about to get on the internet.
If we got receipts of people saying, does the league hate Johnny being the prevailing talk around the NFL? You want to know how I know that wasn't the prevailing talk around the NFL? Johnny Manziel wasn't the prevailing talk around the NFL when he came in. That was the height of Brady, Manning, Roethlisberger, and company. That was the height of that crew. Didn't nobody give a damn about no damn Johnny Manziel. What?
All we heard about is that he do drugs and he about to be out the league. That's what we heard about.
That's it. We were not hearing no, oh yeah, in today's football stories, the main storyline, does the league hate Johnny? People didn't give, he wasn't the number 1 pick, he wasn't the number 2 pick, he didn't go top 10. And when the Browns did draft him, everybody knew it was a mistake. Everybody. I can't believe this. I can't believe what I'm hearing right now. I can't believe it. We have gotten to the league hated Johnny Manziel discourse. Ladies and gentlemen, So let's just
Fun fact: we don't need to talk about the WNBA no goddamn more.
let's just end it here. Let's just end it here, okay? Because my voice is gone, and we are just about at an hour. Let me just ask y'all this: do you think the way Caitlin Clark is covered is a net negative or a net positive for the NBA? I mean WNBA.
We live in a society to where the negative is going to outweigh the positive. So let's say one player has something negative to say about Caitlin Clark, which Angel Reese did. Right? The negative is going to outweigh the positive. So that's going to be covered more regardless of what these other players have to say. I am of the company that in some situations, any publicity is good publicity. And I've watched the way that they have attempted to cover the WNBA over the course of the past few years since I have been following the sport. And you have superstar players. I've seen Diana Taurasi. I've seen Kelsey Plum. I've seen Asia Wilson put on all-time great performances, and nobody cares. So if this is the avenue that you're going to have to take to get more eyes on the WNBA, then you have to take it.
So I agree with you and disagree with you all at once. I agree with you from the standpoint of, yes, no publicity is bad publicity if you are the WNBA right now. You want all the publicity you can get. Absolutely. I disagree with you in that the white savior narrative as a whole is always damaging to the black pioneers.
Agreed.
It is quite literally always damaging. And to see what is happening right now is so crazy, because the ways in which somebody said something that was very profound after Pat McAfee called Caitlin Clark, you've got this one white bitch who's saving the league, right? And they said, if this is what he says about Caitlin in public, imagine what he's saying about the black women in this league, the black masculine presenting women in this league behind closed doors. And beyond that, the transphobia that I've already seen. Like I talked about the Dallas Wings and how big they are. Tierra McCowan, phenomenal player. Mm-hmm. She was phenomenal at Mississippi State, took them further in the tournament than they've ever been. She holds, if there's a record at Mississippi State in terms of blocks, rebounds, points, she owns it. Kelani Brown, let me tell you something. That woman has been a baller for years. She's a large part of why Kim Mulkey is who she is right now, because she was a large part of those Baylor teams that went on and won all those games, went to national championships, did all those things. That woman is finer than an ant's baby hair. And yet, somehow, people are asking of both of them, because they're tall, dark-skinned women, were they born men? Are they trans? So to me, stuff like that, and yes, when
Agreed.
you get more eyes on the sport, you will always have more good and more bad, because that's who sports fans are as a whole. But the dynamic surrounding a white savior increases that, because that white savior is put into the hero role, which means everybody else is naturally typecast as what?
The
villains. And when you villainize somebody, it makes it easier to demonize them and call them everything but a child of God. So on one hand, you're right. No exposure, no publicity is bad publicity. On the other hand, the white savior narrative is extremely damaging and dangerous to a league that's upwards of 80% black.
I understand that, but real quick, you acting like we don't live in America and most of these narratives already exist regardless.
Yes, they already exist regardless, but I'm saying when you throw the white savior in, it makes it worse. Like, we're not going to pretend like you said, we live in America, certain things exist already. Classism exists as it is, right? However, if we were to throw certain aspects in to different conversations we have or into different spaces that we exist in, those things could ramp up the classism in a way that was not already going to be present. Even though, yes, we can acknowledge it was going to be present. Misogynoir was going to be present. It was not going to be to this level if it weren't for, again, this white woman who, is the savior of the league. She's the instant white hat who they need to let her score. And the way they're hating on her, and there were no charter flights before her, even though factually there were. That's what I mean.
Hey, the letting her score that's probably the craziest thing I heard on
It's
that's the
crazy.
craziest thing I probably heard out of this whole thing.
From actual NBA players, former NBA players. Crazy. Chris, is this coverage a net negative or net positive? And then we're going to get out of here.
It's a negative. I already told y'all they just mad one of the Proud Girls get their ass whooped. That's literally the whole thing. She's from Iowa. Do you know how many people this side of the skin look like us in Iowa, Gibbs?
It's very few.
Honestly, the craziest part about all of this is Caitlin Clark kind of getting thrown under the bus. And if you ever heard, if y'all heard her say anything about this, she really just trying to hoop, bro.
Yeah.
Well, it come with the territory. Here you go feeling sorry for her ass again. It come with the goddamn. You the number one pick, nigga. It come with the territory.
It's part of the deal.
It's part of the deal, yeah.
If you're going to be
prompted,
not only as the number one pick, but as a savior, because do y'all remember who last year's number one pick in the WNBA draft was?
Old girl that played for the Fever. I forget her name. I know you. The center.
Do you know? Chris, do you know?
No.
Aaliyah Boston.
Yeah, that's her name.
Again, South Carolina center. She got drafted number one. The Fever were asked last year. They get the number one draft pick again, and they get Caitlin. I'm saying that to say this. The reality is very simple. She's not just the number one pick in the WNBA. She's being prompted as the savior. If you are prompted as the savior, it comes with different responsibilities. Chris, quick question. Who was the number one pick in the 2004 NBA draft? Josh, I know you know. Don't answer. Chris, who was the number one pick?
Number one pick in 2004. Brown was 2003. So then 2004 was... I'm trying to think who was the last place team.
Don't worry about it. It was Dwight Howard.
Yeah, it was Dwight.
Dwight Howard.
Yep.
Dwight Howard had a different set of expectations than LeBron did. And Chris, I wasn't doing that I just know Josh has an encyclopedic knowledge of all.
Yeah. I was gonna get to it eventually. I was thinking that.
So I'm saying that to say that LeBron had instant. You're the chosen one. You're going to usher the league into new heights. Dwight didn't have that. Dwight had a different setup. So he had different things that he could say and do that LeBron didn't. It's the same thing for Caitlin Clark. She's thrust, like you said, she just want to hoop. But you can't just hoop if you are the next savior. That's not. And again, I disagree with it. That's why I say it's a net negative for everybody, because everybody loses. Caitlin Clark loses because now she's put in a situation where she just wants to hoop, but she has to answer for all these things. She has to speak up on all these things, or else she's de facto leaving her teammate and former All-Star, Aaliyah Boston, to get thrown under the bus for the Fever's terrible start. That's just my thought there.
Yeah.
Anywho, hey, listen, I know y'all are tired of hearing me talk with this raspy voice. Y'all are tired of us arguing about which one of these great white hopes and these Slovenian, Czechoslovakian,
Luka pass
players is the best. But come on back next week and the week after that and the week after that. Peace and love, y'all.